Welcome to Gaia's Love, a podcast of brief messages to help humanity bridge the gap to the new earth. My name is Vivienne Gerard. It is my delight to be a scribe for consciousness today, sharing the wisdom that flows through from Source. Here we go. Episode 327. It is Monday here in Cincinnati. It is, I think, about 50 degrees already, and we are headed to 60 degrees. The sun is trying to peek through the clouds. It is an astonishingly warm and beautiful day here in the Midwest at the beginning of this cold month of winter. So I am enjoying being outside. I finally got myself back into my groove and I went for a run today, which felt super good. And we'll probably take Star for a walk. We're going to get outside as much as we can and soak up some of the warm air because I'm sure it's going to get cold again. We are on the other side of the Super Bowl for those who watch football and those who watch the commercials in between the football. It was quite an evening of razzle dazzle is the word that comes to mind. Flashing and lights and a lot of costumes, a lot of performance. So congratulations to Kansas City. Quite an exciting night for them. Yeah, here we are, Monday morning. I've been in an interesting space, and I'm going to try to put words to it and assume that if I'm sharing it, there is some match in what you're experiencing in your journey right now or in the life of someone around you. And so perhaps what I share will give insight into your relationships or the community in which you're playing. For me, there has been a shift or a decrease in my speed, my tempo, my pace. I talked about this last week, how many of us find a groove, a speed at which we move through life, and we get very comfortable in that groove. And then when there's a change or we complete something significant and then we're sort of in that in-between place, it can be very disorienting and uncomfortable because we're so used to our groove. And then when that groove shifts, we're like, what happened? What's going on? And last week was very much an introspective look for me of what speed have I been operating at, and what speed do I choose to maintain or to set as my new speed for this new year. I don't know that I have the answers to all of that yet, but it's the space I find myself in. And so last week I kept evaluating myself. How was I doing each day? Was I accomplishing anything? I have these huge checklists and not much was getting checked off the list. And there were new lists being added and nothing really felt like it was very much getting done. And also there were things getting done, but it just felt unsettling to me. Yesterday we had and also let me just add, I've had beautiful spaciousness and I'm very blessed to have that, and I have had lots of rich conversations and beautiful time with my family and naps. I mean, it's just been beautiful and unsettling. And so yesterday I was back for our Sunday meditation call with no agenda, no idea what I was going to talk about, just this sense of things are shifting and I'm not quite sure what it is that is happening, but I know I don't feel like I normally feel. So when the call started, what started coming through was about energy and light and our chakras and how we move energy through our bodies and how to expand the space that we have inside of ourselves while still holding a clear energetic aura. I want to say the word boundary, but boundary always implies pushing people away. And an energetic aura that is clear around us just naturally maintains a steady vibration. So only those who match that vibration come into our space and play with us. And so it's not quite a boundary because it's not pushing people away. It just isn't a match for those who are not in that same vibration. They just don't feel interested in hanging out with you or me. And so it just shifts. And the call really helped me see for myself that that's what I am moving towards or playing with in my own journey. And those who are in that meditation space with me have a match, and they're also going through that same experience. And when we all focus on it together, clearly it's more amplified and easier to see, and more powerful to be able to hold for ourselves. And then we ended that time together, that hour, which is recorded. If any of this is a match to you, it might be a support to go back and listen to that recording. You can find it on my website under Offerings, Meditations, and Here Now with Viv, our Sunday calls. But we ended that hour with what was... I didn't realize I had the words for it until I heard the words coming through my mouth and into the phone. What I was describing is what I've been struggling with. The mind, my mind, has some very familiar patterns that it likes to run. And when I'm in a space of shifting or expanding or just sitting in this unknown energy, my mind likes to throw these red flags in, like, you're a mess, you don't know what you're doing, nothing's going to work out, you have no other creations inside of you, you finished the book and now there's nothing else. There's so many. My mind has a wealth of library of junk that it likes to send my way when I sit in those unknown spaces. And that's a lot of what was having me feel so unsettled last week. It's perhaps a little bit, and I don't compare it in the same way, I just compare a little bit. After, a woman has a baby and you've gone through this incredible experience of creating life, and then that baby comes out into the world and you see and touch and hold this incredible being that has taken on human form. While you marvel at the majesty of it, there's this, I think, very natural withdrawal inside of the mom of, oh my God, now what? Right? I did this amazing thing and now that baby is here. Now what? Because part of it is the separation of the mother and child, the individuation of a baby that used to be part of, included in the whole of the mother. And when we separate in that way, we question what's going to happen. What next? Who am I if I'm not creating life? I've already done that. Now what? It's a miracle to have a child and hold that child. And there's also a very human withdrawal and reaction of, I don't know what to do now, because the creation part in the way that I understood it is complete. And so we call that depression and postpartum, and we have these, we have lots of tools, luckily, that are being developed to help women through that separation process. For me, in creating and birthing the book, Just White Light, that I finished, it's a baby in a sense. It's a new energy that is now in physical form, that is out in the world creating its own journey and awakening, activating, bringing information through to those who are reading it. And so it's doing its own thing. And me as the mama who birthed it, it's unknown. What do I do now? What am I when I've been in this creation process, and now what? And so I have been in these loops with my mind where my mind is not always very kind to me. And then, I judge that the mind is being unkind, and then there's another loop that gets created. And so at the end of this meditation time yesterday, what my soul brought through for me so clearly is a way to start helping my mind through that process. And it's through using light, which is exactly what I describe in the book. So the book is teaching me how to expand in my own human journey. And so at the end of the meditation, I was offering guidance on how we bring light in and help rewire the neurons, the pathways in our brain when those familiar patterns are wanting to raise up and yell at us. So I finished the call and had a beautiful afternoon. Lots of love and support and conversation. And then I found my mind wanting to go back into the patterns, and I would realize I was doing it and then ask for the guidance that I received in the meditation to be practiced. So bringing in light and asking for that rewiring to happen so I wouldn't go back into that contraction. And so it became a bit of a wrestle in my mind, which is why I watched the Super Bowl, because it was nice and distracting. There was a lot of flash and dazzle that kept me distracted. But at the end of the night, I took Star outside to go to the bathroom before bed, and we were walking, and the night sky was so clear and so filled with stars, and I was just standing there looking up at the sky, warm temperature outside, just amazed at the beauty of this life, and heard myself in my mind going, just tell me the answer. Like, what is the point of this process I'm going through? And I heard this word again, which I've heard so many times over the last week, and the word was allow. Allow. Just allow. And then this rush of energy that came in as I heard that in my mind, of just all the ways in which I'm not allowing love to move through my space. I'm not allowing others around me to show up and support me. I'm not allowing light to move into my brain and do its healing. I could just feel the resistance in me as the word allowing was coming into my mind. So I went inside and went to bed, because that's often what happens when my mind is like, I don't understand. So this morning when I got up and I went for my run, I was just pondering this idea of allowing and realized I don't know if I have a definition for allowing. I don't even know if I know what the word means if I were to define it according to Webster or Google. So before I started this recording, I looked up the definition, and of course it's so perfect. Allowing, when you look up the definition, the first words you'll see are give, permit. There's an action in allowing. And when I have felt into the word last night and today, it was almost like I need to lean back and let it be done to me. Something is going to happen to me and I just have to keep surrendering. But it felt like a passive thing that happens. I allow, and passively things are just going to shift in my world. And when I read the definition, what I felt immediately is it's my choice to give permission that allows these things that I'm calling in to happen. When I give permission to my brain to think differently and to allow more light in, then the light is able to come in and do its healing work. But I have to give permission for that to occur. Allowing involves a choice. The same for the people around me. In order for me to allow them to support me, I have to give permission for that to happen. There's a shift inside of me that is made in order for all of those external things around me to move in different ways. Everything is energetic within us first, and that's what the whole call was about yesterday. The magic that we seek in our external lives it starts inside of us. It starts inside this human soul experience. Soul, human experience. We're more soul than we are human. There's an energetic permission that we activate, and then all that we want to receive is allowed to come in and become real to us, can happen for us. So it's been quite an aha for me this morning, because I know the ways I resist, and I know when I feel uncomfortable and unsettled, I push away. I want to climb into my little hole and hide and figure it out. And then when I've got it all solved, I'll come out and I'll continue on with my life and my journey. And perhaps what is different after this book, perhaps what is different in this new year of 2020 for me, is to allow the love and the support in all moments, not just when I feel like I've got it figured out. So it's going to be interesting this week to find where I am able to give permission more and allow and receive more, because I've given that energetic permission. So I don't have it all figured out. I don't know that any of us really have it all figured out, but we just keep trying and we keep exploring. And as new nuggets present themselves, we sit with it and ponder and allow, give permission for some new information. And then we see where the journey takes us. So that is where I find myself today. Very introspective. And also willing more than I have been before to allow. So that's progress, right? That's progress. Okay, here we go. It's the first week of a new month. Let's make it extraordinary. And I will be back on Friday. Thank you for tuning in to this vibration of pure love. I invite you to join me on Sunday mornings for an hour of meditation, visualization, and energy healing, where we realign our mind, body, spirit with Gaia and Source. You can learn more at mysouljourney.com. Let's take this message of Gaia's love out into all of our relationships and communities today. So much love from my heart to yours.